I'm NUTV News correspondent Andrew Longo. On October 29th, the Northeastern Student Government Association hosted a debate between the Northeastern College Democrats and the Northeastern College Republicans. The debate touched on some of the most pressing topics of next week's presidential election. The debate was held at the Northeastern Student Government Senate Chambers, was moderated by political science professor William Mayor, and emceed by Kate Mittelhauser, the executive director of elections at Northeastern. The format featured a rotating style of speakers in which 3 NU College Republicans and 3 NU College Democrats took turns at the podium. The evening's most passionate debate was ignited by abortion.
It's fine to get an abortion because the baby is still not a fully developed human that can survive on its own.
People are thinking that abortion is another form of birth control at this point. There are over 625,000 abortions that are occurring annually, and those are just the ones that are getting reported.
A lot of abortions may occur because a family just can't support a baby, and in that case, it's fine.
If you felt like your life would be changed dramatically by the fact that you were going to be having this baby, then you shouldn't have really engaged in the sexual act that you know that you had a chance of in which you could have had a child.
This is your own body. You have to bear the burden of 9 months of carrying the child. That's not something that every woman wants to go through.
Tax policy.
Can each of you explain why your candidate's tax policy is the more helpful approach for the American public?
Well, we are talking about the middle class economy. You have to think about it on a macro scale. So you can't constantly get good profit if you don't constantly reinvest.
And we should be taxing the big corporations that are making millions of dollars a year. They should be paying their fair share. They should be helping support social services that Kamala Harris and Democrats have supported.
When we do that, you're actually causing a disservice because the people who make the most amount of money are the corporations and the innovators. And all that money goes back into the economy because that's how business works.
It's just sad that someone in healthcare has to pay the same amount of taxes as billionaires. And that's just not right. Our tax system's broken, and Kamala Harris has a plan to fix it.
And the character of their respective candidates.
You're voting for a pro-democracy candidate and an anti-democracy candidate. Trump has said day one he'll be a dictator. He has these fascist tendencies that he's proud. Kamala Harris is the only candidate that really cares about the success of America and the success of the next generations.
Our political system is pretty screwed ultimately, and I don't think that anyone is being fully authentic or fully marketing themselves truthfully. So you're talking about democracy, but how can you have democracy if there's no openness with information? How have they had these policies, but for the past 4 years we see that our country is still in ruin?
Trump canceled a debate recently. He's not doing interviews, right? He's not out in the public. He's the one that has demonized the media in the past. I think it's evident that Kamala Harris is the only one that actually cares about the future of this country.
Never in the history of the United States has the presidential nominee not been nominated. She literally got no votes. She was substituted. It's not like you just throw somebody in when somebody's not doing well. But that was a really egregious offense for democracy.
Debaters were given 2 minutes to make their closing statements, pitching their respective candidates' plan for the country's future.
We believe that education curriculum should be about the basics, not about trying to impose ideology. We believe that people, especially as adults, can identify however they want, but it's fair for only girls to play against girls and to change in girls' locker rooms. But this election is essentially about comparing 4 years versus 4 years. Do we want a president who secures the border, lowers taxes, doesn't drastically increase spending and drive up inflation, who appoints justices to the Supreme Court, who follow the Constitution as written, rather than what they would like it to say based on preferred policy outcomes?
It really is about the future of this country, our democratic institutions, and the future of the American people. Kamala Harris knows, she's got the experience, the ideas, the policies to back up her bid for President of the United States. Her track record as a prosecutor speaks for itself. She cares about the rule of law, and she cares about what this country looks like going forward. Trump doesn't. He doesn't care about what happens to the average Americans. He only cares about what happens to him in his pockets.
The way you win in politics, you can't govern unless you have big majorities. You can't have big majorities unless you win. You can't win unless you persuade, so we need to go persuade people.
This is one of the biggest elections, most important elections in our lifetime, because we are truly fighting for the soul of America and the soul of the American democracy.
The event showcased the conflicting political perspectives here on Northeastern's campus, but also the ability of students to amicably communicate their beliefs. If you don't have a plan to vote, you can make one at northeastern.turbovote.org. For NUTV News, I'm Andrew Longo.